The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all.
1. Represent the National Assembly, Honourable Member of Parliament. The vision of Portuguese Senegal has been taken care of as soon as the government is formed, with in particular the requirement to defend in all first place the interests of Senegal, and never to let ourselves be dictated again, our conduct in public affairs management, and the defence of the Senegalese citizen, and the year for proof, openly displayed positions by colleague the President of the Republic in international bodies, whether to the United Nations Tribe, at the Global Forum for Sovereignty and Vaccine Innovation, at the top of the Olympic Games, of Sustainable Development, at meetings of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. We militate for one rebalancing of global governance and respect for universal values of peace and human rights, in particular, the end of the genocide in Gaza and recognition of Zine rights and the Zinarianab of the Palestinian people, Odemara, internally, the celebration of the 80th anniversary of the massacre of Senegalese riflemen at Kariwil, December 1st mil-neuf-cent-quarante Cotta, was an opportunity to affirm our requirement of sovereignty in the truncated fact-finding, made up and hidden for 80 to 80 years, normally at the expiration of its deadline, 1711 Cotta, fishing agreements that linked Senegal to the European Union also mark our unilateral will to defend the interests of our fisheries, of our national armaments and our industry. Fishing Club, on monetary sovereignty, of the African Monetary Union. Our government had exchanges with the BBC on the status and prospects of the implementation, work of the reform, of the CFA franc, gaining sovereignty over defence matters. The President of the Republic announced the upcoming closure of the bases, foreign military in Senegal, of all military bases in Senegal. Finally, with regard to Senegal's foreign policy, the new bases have been laid, namely the return to abroad, in the Senegalese diplomatic representation, with the title of career diplomat, and the focus put on strengthening cooperation links with African countries. At the President of the National Assembly in Europe, Member of Parliament, renewal of Senegal to the external interior plan cannot succeed without one effective public administration and ethics, as well as public societies of parapology, governed by one strict financial governance. It has been hammered by the President of the Republic and follow-up to the First Council of Ministers, with his letter of 8 of 08 of August 4th, 2020 Cotta, transmitted individually to each agent of the state, to invite them to righteousness, creativity, easity, always through the principles of God, by Dubois and Joe Bounty. We have listened and understood, on the President of the National Assembly in Arabic, Deputy the Citizen request for better governance in the country, but we also gave one priority, in the last 8 months, to social demand of the Senegalese, who want a better quality of life. In this regard, we attacked the expensive life by setting up, as of June 2020 Cotta, in a context of public finance in distress, measures to reduce rainfall and basic foodstuffs. Concerning the price of fuel and electricity, the necessary measures have been taken for the restoration of in the procurement of hydrocarbon, et law diversification from their source. Regarding the living environment of the Senegalese, our government has committed, since the month of April, of initiative force for flood and screaming management, for regular operation, garbage collection by the purely backward, for regular operation, garbage collection by the Puma Day Arts and payment from Sonaget to the dealer, for the monthly organization of a day this Arshan with regard in particular to the management of floods and cries. The substantial sums have been returned to face. We request one audit of the 10-year program, flood management, and programs, sanitation of the 10 cities that have angled respectively de-cent-QUATRE-VINGT-5 billion CFA francs and 77 billion CFA francs, with no tangible result, is the President of the National Assembly in Europe, Member of Parliament, in the field of social equity, priority concern for the government. We have attracted to manage the impact of financial constraints, public, on the payment of family security grants. with the perm of the planned areas. During the first quarter 2025, the social team also showed up on the whole national territory whenever natural disasters or accidents are eliminated by financial and in-kind support, in particular, as a result of the floods of cries from the Senegalese rivers, road accidents and so on. You are present at the National Assembly in Arabic Deputy. My government has taken charge of reasoning one Jersey, essential to our economic and social development in the last 8 months, namely human capital, in particular, the education and training sector. To intermittent councils were devoted, the preparation of the exams, at the competition and at the beginning of the school year. Important decisions have been made at the end of his advice, among which the resolution of the teacher deficit, the gradual elimination of temporary shelters, the problem of the lack of students' civil status document, payment of examination fees and allowances. My government is very concerned. High failure rates of the CFA 34.5% to the BFM 26% and the baccalaureate 49.5%. This means that a proportion of our children leaves school without a diploma corresponding to their school cycle. We need to remedy this. In the field of higher education, the major challenge in the course of management and systemic transformation, systematic sector, with the imminent implementation, a steering committee responsible for proposing to the President of the Republic relevant measures to this end. Already, the actions required for the restoration of the universal calendar and the pacification of the universal space have been committed. Actions towards youth and the promotion of citizenship have not been in remain since April 2024, with the organization of agricultural vacations, repositioning the civic service and volunteer work, again from prematurity for more impact, and the systematization of the armation concept in all appropriate areas of activity. In the field of sport, we will support the competitions in the far and prejudiced, in charge of the organization of the Olympic Games, of the Dakar Youth 2026, in the health sector, the main ring has been guaranteed, of continuity, the service is the quality of the reception, in hospital services, as well as to spend, reviewing the hospital construction program, who suffers from many acts of mismanagement, and especially of huge creative surface. It is the present one, the President of the National Assembly, Conrap or MP. Our government has also become excited, in the last 8 months, on supply issues in drinking water and environmental issues, reserved to especially of transport. Concerning the supply of drinking water, we have seriously undertaken the resolution of the shortcomings in hydraulics management, rural and urban, with notably guidelines to implement the characterized disadvantages of the crossing unserved rural areas in drinking water through water pipes for cities. In the field of the environment, my government has taken strong action with the suspension until 30/06/2027 of mining activities in around the left bank of the river of the Falemia on one radius of 500 meters. In the field of physical infrastructure, my government has completed one state program locations, construction projects of road infrastructure, gates and airport operators. This state of affairs has revealed certain drifts and sacrificed interests of the state of Senegal. Mr. President, the National Assembly Contracts Deputy, everything remembers my bet, useful for taking the measure of the immense challenges already noted by the government in such a short time, but also the obstacles will lead Francis to cross for the Senegal during these 8 months. The main handicap faced to government is the legacy of management of a country in the middle of the game, in the image of a boat at the end of fuel in a rough sea. Never in the history of Senegal, one power of attorney has not been passed on.
Senegal joining Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso to kick out foreign military bases together with Chad is a brilliant idea. We need to team up and fight the common enemy because we can't do it individually. Divided we fall, always. These people know this tactic so well. So if we truly want to fight these people, we need to unite as a people and do away with the democracy they've given to us, because this is a system they've created to help them carry out their own agenda on the African soil. So this is what AES understood well and they are doing things together. They formed the confederation. So we need to all join hands to be able to fight them. So that's the latest around the world in Africa and in Senegal.